Hey, welcome back to the podcast. Today I want to talk about something that has been on my heart for a little while, and I think I have alluded to it in a few of my podcasts before, some of my blogs, and that is the fatigue of social media. I don't know if anyone else is feeling the same or is this just me? So that's why I want to talk about today, and I would love to hear some feedback from others how they're feeling in this space. For me, social media, and I'm talking particularly about Instagram and Facebook. I don't have TikTok or X or whatever it's called. So yeah, just particularly Instagram and Facebook. And I'm done. I am so done with what happens on there in terms of the distracting ads, the algorithms of putting irrelevant stuff in front of you because you accidentally clicked on something that you didn't mean to, and then it starts feeding these things to you and you're like, why am I getting this in my feed? And also, I mean, I'm not on these platforms very often, so this is just me talking about my experience. And look, this is a survey of one, so yeah, really curious to hear what others feel and think about this as well. One of the things that I go down onto a bit of a dive with is the comments on posts. And I do this genuinely out of curiosity, because I don't comment or get involved in these, but I see a lot of conflict going on and a lot of people abusing other people because of the difference in opinions. And this is what makes the world so beautiful and unique, is that we are all different. We all have different opinions. We are all seeing the world as we are, not as it is. And so we are all coming into our days through a very different lens. And I love the diversity of how people, go about their lives, and people are abused about the way they feel and what their opinions are. And sometimes I go down this rabbit hole, I guess, of just looking into comments of different posts. And again, it's not to be involved. It's from a place of genuine curiosity, because I sort of wonder, why are people spending so much of their energy getting involved in these things with people that they do not know, that have no relevance in their lives, and it is completely dysregulating their nervous systems. And also the people who come on there and they change their status. I see this rising a lot. They change their status to anonymous, and I don't even know how to do that. So obviously, obviously people out there know how to do this because so many people are doing it. And it's, if you can't stand behind your comment without putting your name to it, then don't comment. Like, just don't even go there. So yeah, look, it's just something that's been percolating in me for a while now, and I am really curious about what others think about this. And where I'm coming from regarding this is what it's doing to our nervous system. Because I know for me, that's why I don't get on social media that often, because I know what it does to my nervous system. And I'm very good at regulating my nervous system, right? So I can feel it in the moment. And for those people that can't, like, what is it doing to their nervous system? And firstly, do they understand that that's what's going on at the time? And secondly, how are they able to pattern interrupt that to actually get off that and actually understand that that's what's going on in their body? And yes, the addiction to the dopamine hit that you get from the scrolling and those sorts of things are real. And it is a battle that, this generation is really going through. When I was a teenager and through my 20s, we did not have this technology. And so, obviously there are other things that dysregulate our nervous system. But this is in our face 24/7, and it's very hard to get away from if you don't put those boundaries in place. And, there's lots of tools that you can use, obviously, to do that. You can put restrictions on apps or on your phone, all those sorts of things to help you get off, these particular apps. So, again, going back to the nervous system, this is where we can take radical responsibility for ourselves in these situations, because the algorithms are designed to keep you in that loop and to keep you scrolling. That is the design, and that is how these big organizations are making the money, because people are addicted to the scroll, and it's real, and it's not our fault because that's how they are designed. And so taking radical responsibility for ourselves is so key in these situations. And this is not to shame or blame anybody, because I'm right there with you. I'm in the thick of it as well. And as I said, there are times where when I do go on these apps and I find myself, flicking through things, and then it's just like all of a sudden it hits me. It's like, what am I doing? Why am I here? I might have gone into, say, Facebook to look up something in particular, and then 15 minutes later I'm scrolling through things that have no relevance to what I was trying to do in the first place. And it literally is this moment in time of catching myself, like, what am I doing here? And taking radical responsibility for my actions in that moment. And this is really key. It's really key in all of everything that we do in our lives. And, the law of responsibility is that it is how we are responding with ability. And this is the time for us to take our power back and to take control of that. Otherwise, we are just running someone else's version of our life, and we are not taking control of what it is that we want to achieve in our lives, what it is where we want to go, what we want to do. And yes, social media has its time and its place, and there are amazing things on social media. I get that. It is an amazing place to reach many, and I use it, I post things, but I do question the motives behind that. And that's why I love doing this podcast. I have now created my YouTube channel. When I say created, I actually started that maybe 2 years ago, and I've only just now started to post videos on that channel, because I'm so passionate about getting this work out there. And I know that for me, Instagram and Facebook is not the place for that to happen. I love the long form content. I love the conversations that I can have here, and to open up this space and for people to just come in and really take that in. And, this is a place where we can just sit down and breathe and relax, and to not have this flick of, reel after reel happening. Because, for me, when I do go down that rabbit hole, my eyes burn. Like, honestly, my eyes burn after that. And yes, I'm getting older, so yes, I am wearing glasses. But it's that constant overstimulation. It's through the brain and through the eyes. It's just too much. It's honestly just too much. And so I love this long form content for that, for us to just have that spaciousness, for us to sit down, or if you're in the car, you're on the train or on the bus, just allowing yourself that time to breathe, to take it all in. And if you're on, the bus or the train, to be able to look out the window and actually see life. Look at the trees, look at the birds, look at the roofs of all the houses or the suburbs, if that's what, is outside the window. But to actually take that in, because we're missing all that. We're missing life because we have our faces in these screens everywhere we go. And, I'm not to say that we shouldn't be using our phones for things that we need, because there is so much goodness in there. I get that. The information is at our fingertips, and that's so powerful. We've never had that before. Things are moving at a very fast pace. And, I love that we have the ability to research things on the go and to do all these things. There's so much magic in all of that. And there is so much distraction in all of that as well. And what are we being distracted from? We're being distracted from ourselves, from our inner truth, from our inner power, from what we're feeling, because we're bypassing our emotions and our feelings because we can't sit with ourselves anymore. We've lost the ability to sit with ourselves and to really understand what's happening under the hood and feeling into those feelings without just picking up the phone and going, just distract myself with this and that. And the other point I want to make around this is the falsity of feeling connected through these spaces. And even though we are connected through these apps and through the social media, we actually feel more isolated than ever before. And they've done research on this, and there's papers around this, is the isolation is real. So even though we are connected, we're not connected. And so that's why I am very passionate about the podcast and the YouTube videos that I'm doing, and also the online community space that I've built called the Bee Club. This is not a noisy Facebook space. This is where we can come together without distraction, and we can talk to each other like real humans, and we can put a face to the name. It's not anonymous, and there is no abuse and there's no judgment. We're there to support each other and to lift each other up, and to have the space to do the meditations and the breathwork exercises, because this is what we're craving. Like, even though these social media platforms are giving us this false sense of connection, it's not. It's real connection that we're after. And that's why we spend so much time on these platforms, because we are craving connection. So, yeah, the spaces that are getting built out there as an alternative to social media is beautiful, and it is where we are heading. And I am so grateful that this is taking off in different aspects. And I'm so grateful for the community space that I've built, the Bee Club, because this is where real connection is. This is where we can, really let go of the masks and really see each other for who we are and honor each other, and to not hide behind anything. We can turn up as we are and be celebrated for who we are. And I love that. I absolutely love that. So that's sort of a bit of a rant from me today. Very unscripted and very impromptu, because it was just something that is on my heart and I wanted to share that. And again, I'm really curious as to what you think about that. If you have a similar thought, a similar feeling around social media, or how you see it differently. I'm really curious if you do see social media differently, and if it does bring you joy and it does light you up and it does bring you energy. I also want to hear that, because that's also an amazing point of view that I would love to hear from somebody if that's your world. So I hope that you got from today what you needed, and I look forward to chatting you soon. Bye for now.